Hi everyone, welcome to U.S. Immigration Simplified. I'm immigration and business attorney Ronald Lee. Today, we're going to discuss what happens when you overstay your F-1 student visa. If you overstay your F-1 student visa, it can lead to serious immigration consequences that may impact your ability to remain in or return to the United States. Here's what can happen. What can happen is number one, you immediately lose your F-1 status. F-1 students are admitted to the U.S. for the duration of status, meaning they're allowed to stay as long as they comply with the terms of their F-1 status, such as full-time employment and adherence to authorized stay periods after graduation or OPT. Once you overstay, you are out of status, which means you're no longer authorized to remain in the U.S. Number two is accrual of unlawful presence. Unlawful presence begins occurring once you overstay your F-1 status after the grace period ends. There is a 60-day grace period, however. F-1 students typically have a 60-day grace period after completing their program or OPT. Accruing unlawful presence can lead to severe penalties. If you overstay between 180 days to less than 1 year, you can accrue 180 days but less than a year of unlawful presence, but leaving the U.S. triggers a 3-year re-entry ban, meaning you are forbidden from returning to the U.S. for 3 years. If you accrue unlawful presence for 1 year or more, leaving the U.S. triggers a 10-year re-entry ban, meaning when you leave the U.S., you are prevented from coming back into the country for 10 years. Number three is ineligibility for future visas. Overstaying and falling out of status can make you ineligible for future visas or change of status applications within the U.S. Future visa applications at U.S. embassies or consulates may be denied due to the overstay record. Loss of OPT and CPT eligibility. If you overstay, you are no longer eligible for optional practical training or curricular practical training, as these programs require valid F-1 status. Number five is difficulty adjusting status. If you wish to apply for different visa categories such as H-1B or marriage-based green card while out of status, you may face additional hurdles. Certain adjustment of status applications require you to be in legal status. You may need to leave the U.S. and go through consular processing abroad, which could be impacted by unlawful presence bars. And lastly, you risk deportation. Being out of status makes you vulnerable to removal if you encounter U.S. immigration authorities. If detained, you could face expedited removal or be required to attend removal proceedings. So what should you do if you have overstayed your F-1 visa? The first thing is to consult an immigration attorney. They can help you understand your options, which may include reinstatement of F-1 status, adjusting to a different visa status, or preparing to leave the U.S. Or file for reinstatement. In certain cases, you may be eligible to apply for reinstatement of F-1 status if you can prove the violation was due to circumstances beyond your control and you intend to continue studying. You can consider other visa options. If eligible, you may be able to apply for a visa that allows you to remain in the U.S., such as a family-based visa, a work visa, or change of status. However, most change of status requires that you are in lawful status. How should you prevent overstaying? Certainly track program end dates and grace periods. Ensure you understand the end date of your F-1 program, OPT, or CPT, and plan ahead. And certainly stay in contact with your designated school official. They can help you manage your status and may guide you if you're nearing your authorized stay period. Overstaying an F-1 visa can have long-term consequences for immigration options, so it's critical to stay in status and address any potential overstay immediately. That's it for this video. If you need help with your current status or if you risk overstaying your F-1 status, send me a text at 312-804-1386 or send me an email at ronald@rdllawgroup.com.